Alrighty. Here we go. Chemistry 102 final exam review, fall 2020. Predict and label the bond labels or the bond angles for each carbon in the following structure. You may redraw the structure to more clearly illustrate the angles if you want to. Well, if you look at these three carbons in this molecule, I notice that these two both have 4 bonds, right? 4 single bonds, whereas this carbon has 2 single bonds and a double bond. And so if we want to predict the bond angles, hopefully you made enough models to know that when carbon has 4 bonds, so if I redraw this molecule, if I draw the carbons like this, so if I just think about the carbon in the center, that one of those hydrogens is going to be going in the back and another one is going to be coming out in front like this. So that carbon is tetrahedral, and the bond angles are going to be around 109.5 degrees. The same thing applies to the carbon on the end, right? It's got one NH2 group. It's going to have another one going in back like this, and it's going to have another one coming out in front like this. And so this one is also tetrahedral, and the bond angles here will also be around 109.5 degrees. Whereas the carbon on the far left has got the double bond, and then it's got a bond to hydrogen like this. So it's surrounded by 3 regions of electron density, right? 1, 2, 3, like that. And so that carbon is going to be trigonal planar, and therefore the bond angle, so I could isolate any one of those bond angles, I'll just pick this one, it's going to be around 120 degrees, give or take. So there we go. We've predicted the geometry of all 3 of the carbons, and we've approximated their bond angles. Question number 2. Alkanes are known as saturated hydrocarbons. Explain why. Well, if you think about an alkane has a generic formula of CnH2n plus 2, like that. This is the maximum number of hydrogens per carbon atom, right? So that's why they're saturated. They're completely maxed out. If you think about an alkene, right? An alkene has a generic formula of CnH2n. And if you think about an alkyne has a generic formula of CnH2n minus 2. Along with the alkene, another one that falls under that umbrella would also be the cycloalkane. Right? Cycloalkanes have the same generic formula as an alkene. All right. Number 3. Draw the lined angle formula. That's the same thing as a bond line formula. So draw the bond line formula, the condensed structural formula, and the molecular formula for ethane, labeling which is which. Let's first start with the bond line formula, which is going to look like this. So there's my bond line formula. Next, we'll draw the condensed structural formula. So it's condensed and it shows the structure. That's going to look like this, CH3, CH3, like that. And the last one is just asking us for a molecular formula. Remember, molecular formula doesn't tell you about structure. It just tells you what the number of atoms. So we have 2 carbons and 6 hydrogens. And there we go. They're all color-coded for you there. Okay, question number 4. It says, draw and name the 2 constitutional isomers of C4H10. Well, I'm not a big fan of these questions, especially when they get into